You're watching ASOTU CON 2024, presented in collaboration with Reynolds and Gubagoo.
Thanks to our studio partner, Fullthrottle.ai, for making this panel happen.
All right, today we're talking about mobile service, everybody. We have an amazing panel. I'm going to welcome them up, and we're going to kick it around. I'm going to start with Jeremy Stevens. Come on up, Mobile Service Director at Bozard Lincoln in Florida. Starting as a service tech, had experience with a variety of manufacturers, and recently joined Bozard to create the largest mobile service division in the country. Welcome. There's your mic. There's your seat. Next up, Rick Ricart, president of Ricart Auto Group in Ohio. Ricart Ford was founded in 1953 by his grandfather. Now has over 600 employees, selling how many cars? 15,000 new and used vehicles every year. Finally, last but not least, Matthew Haken. Is he in here? He stood us up. Oh, that's hilarious. He's never gonna. If anyone can, is there anybody on my team in here? No, so that's why we're gonna shame him right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's going. This is your little Natasha's like, see what I deal with? You gonna work? Yeah, put him on speaker. That's what Ed said. We're gonna leave him a voicemail. When I say Matthew, everybody say, where are you?
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
This is gonna be great.
The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording,
I'm gonna say, we have one question. Hey Matthew, this is the fixed mobile service division, keynote, side stage, Studio One. We're calling you. We have one question for you.
Where are you?
We're wondering where you are. You're welcome. Goodbye. He's gonna come running in here. Oh, I'm sorry.
I will never miss a panel for you ever.
What did you say?
I'll never miss a panel for you ever.
It's more of like, you know, when you're
Don't want to go through
we have
that.
to make an example out of somebody in front of everybody else, right? It's the public beheading. Right? We should just put a picture of him only on the screen.
Yeah, missing in action.
Absolutely. Okay, so this mobile service is something that is on the upswing in our industry, and I think there are like really three groups of people. The one group of people are those on the outside saying, I don't think that's for me, right? I'm gonna let someone else figure that out. Actually, there's four groups. The next group is, I'm doing it because I have to do it and I'm not good at it. The next step up group is the people who are like, I'm doing it, I'm figuring it out, making progress, right? I still think there's room to grow. I'm not sure where that is quite yet. And then there's the fourth group, which is represented by one person on the stage who has now literally bought all of the inventory of fixed stop service trucks in the country allocated to Bozard Ford. So we have two of those three. Matt was going to be one of the third groups. We know what group he is because he said, we do it, but we suck, in his Long Island accent or whatever. So today I'm hoping that through conversations and talking about the ups, the downs, the challenges, the opportunities, we're able to shine a little light on this opportunity in auto as people are searching for more convenience. Our conversation on the main stage this morning, we really talked a lot about retention and how using mobile service, we didn't talk about this in depth, we saved it for here, how this is a retention opportunity as well. And we're also going to take some questions because obviously you're here because there's some curiosity about it or some level of operation that you're already in. And hopefully we can unlock this. And then this room will represent the best mobile service operators in the country when we come back here next year for ASOTU CON 2025. So thank you for joining me today.
No, thank you for having us.
All right, let's start this way. How long have you been doing mobile service? Actually, before we do that, give me an overview of your store and your mobile service operation. Like who you serve, how many vehicles, how many technicians, whatever.
Okay. So currently we have 19 mobile vans on the road, 5 service advisors and 35 technicians. And right now we're still figuring things out. So I make a lot of mistakes throughout this. But yesterday we got a text message that we had 65 ROs that we did in one day. So we're getting better and better every day with it. So it's pretty much we go wherever we need to.
And you are in northern Florida?
Yep.
St. Augustine?
St. Augustine.
How far out what's your radius?
So the great thing about Bozard is we have customers everywhere in North Florida. So, right now we try to stay within a range of an hour, but it's loosey-goosey on that. We'll go as far as we need to on it.
Okay, great, thank you. Rick, what does your service operation look like, mobile?
Mobile's about half that size. We have 10 vehicles as of right now, 8 dedicated for fleet and commercial, 2 for retail, and then 2 others for some of the other brands. But I think I'm going to stick to just the Ford franchise.
Sure.
Because that's the one that has the big fleet and commercial center, which I'll be kind of going back to a lot. Yep. Overall, our Ford Pro Elite Center has 36 technicians. Like I said, there's 8 plus the 8 that are doing mobile now. The retail side, it's about twice as big, but we're not seeing the activity as much on the retail side yet.
Got it. And so, how many Ford dealers are in here? Several. And how many people in here are currently doing some level of mobile service, Ford or not? How many people are planning on doing it in the next 12 months? Okay, got it. Just want to get a temperature of the room.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so how long have you been doing mobile service? Like, what was your first step into the pond?
First step was 2019, knowing we wanted to get into it. And for me, initially, it was more of a, didn't know where it was going to go. It was new in the industry. Digital retailing was new. Pickup and delivery was new. And I just had this thought that, we're in a world of Amazon Prime now, where the general public has shown that they're willing to pay more to have more convenience and have more options, have free 2-day delivery with no questions asked, exchange and return policies and things like that. And if people are willing to pay a little more to not have to go through the traditional process, this is something that we need to go kind of stick our necks out and see how we could do. So we literally started with one van driving to some of our big mobile fleet customers' lots and just telling them that this is a service that we have now and this is something that we can provide to them. And immediately we got really good feedback that it'd be something that
They said,
they would be
yes,
interested in.
if you built it, we will come.
Yes,
Right, okay.
yes.
Field of dreams.
Yeah, exactly. I know you're new to the Ford ecosystem.
Yeah, I just got here in December, so we've had our foot on the gas from December to now. So we started with 7 vans in December, and we've just been pushing it, see how far
So
we
you
could
started
go.
with 7?
Yeah, 7 in December.
Let's go big or go home, right?
That's right.
But tell us about your background in mobile service. I think it's an interesting story.
You want to go way back?
It's a good one.
Okay, so I think we actually just told Ed and Natasha this story the other night. So I started as a technician at a General Motors dealership. So I was always a technician, but I had this desire to do something on my own. So I left a dealership for 3 years. Within 2 months, my business was so hot it caught on fire. And
very
literally, and I lost everything. All my tools, everything. I rented a shop from a guy, and I was paying him, it was just a bad situation. So in 2009, I bought this old nasty U-Haul trailer, and you would laugh now. I need to find pictures, but an old raggedy 95 Suburban, and I loaded my tools up in this U-Haul trailer, and I started mobile service in 2009. And then I bought another trailer with the tire equipment in it, and I had another truck that did a lot of light maintenance. So for a solid year, I did mobile service before I headed back to the dealership.
And then you came back to the dealership as a service manager?
No, I came back as a technician because he baited me back as a service manager. When I got there, he says, "Hey, I'm going to give this other guy a shot." And I was like, son of a gun. So I went back as a technician, and then I was offered a service manager job at a Chrysler dealership, and I said, heck no. But eventually, but eventually I said yes because, I knew that was the step I had to take. So from that point, I discovered leadership and stuff like that. So it's kind of slingshotted me, pretty far.
Yeah, so
and it
you
got me
were
here.
one of the very first mobile techs.
I feel like it. I was telling them our first day, it was horrible timing. It was in North Carolina. So the first day it was like 30 degrees. It was pouring down rain. So I just remember, I was like, what the heck am I doing? You're coming back soaking wet, but it did. It's almost like when Steve Jobs said, when you look back, you can connect the dots. Mm-hmm. And all that hardship, just made you a better person to get where you are.
That's true. It's true.
Yep.
All right, so thanks for telling the story. I thought it was a good one. I think it gives good context. Rick's got a similar. No, you don't.
Did you burn your shop down too?
I burned a lot of things down. I've blown up a lot of cars, but I never learned from any of those lessons and grew back up.
Rick, why don't you tell us right now what's working in your mobile service business and why?
I think the biggest thing that's working for us, which it took us a while to find out, is really that relationship with the bigger companies that we're doing weekly service on their lots. And what's really working well is it's become a foot in the door to build a relationship that then ends up translating into sales also. So a lot of these companies in Ohio that we were just doing kind of warranty work for, maybe weren't even selling to them. Now we're going to them, we're doing the maintenance, the recalls, and because of the relationship with, because it's the people are the root of the whole thing. And when I listen to Jeremy talk, he has something not a lot of technicians have, which is a personality, and it's the truth. That's one of the hardest things that we've had to overcome. Is we go into our shop with our existing technicians and try to see who's interested in doing mobile service and who has those interpersonal skills to be able to go, because they're representing the company. They're not dealing with an advisor, they're dealing with that technician on their property. And the same thing with the persons or the people back at the store that are doing the scheduling and the dispatching and the logistics and really keeping touch with that customer and about the timing and when they're going to arrive and what services that they're going to perform. And so I think it's the biggest thing that's working is the relationship. It's a great relationship building tool because once you start providing the service, they enjoy it. No one else offers it. Then they look at the whole dealership as their one-stop shop for everything at that point.
What types of companies?
Everything from, we have a good relationship with United Reynolds that do a lot of truck and equipment rental. Kroger, which is a big grocery store chain, all the way down to some of the smaller plumbing, electrical, especially if they have more than 15 vehicles. It really kind of any of that mid-level skilled labor work.
Yeah, so
they're all good.
I like the one-stop shop mentality because any company that has a fleet, downtime is a major issue. Like they just want it available.
It's the reason we got so big into fleet and commercials 7-8 years ago is unlike a retail customer that comes in and says, well, how much is this going to cost? The fleet and commercial customers ask, how long is this going to take? Yeah. And they're literally willing to pay more to get it back sooner because they don't want the downtime. It's a revenue generating vehicle for them.
Hey, can you ask me a question?
Yeah.
So there's people out here that's wanting to do it. So ask me how I found all the technicians, how you do that.
So Rick, something's got me very curious based on what Rick just said.
Did that question just pop in your head?
It did, just came to me. So it's very hard to...
I just want to know how you find them.
Technicians, just tell us how you find your techs.
This is why I'm up here.
Yeah.
Rub off on me. Yeah. Show me the way.
So Jeremy, how do you find these technicians to fill these vans that you're willing to put in a residential customer's driveway?
I really don't know. I was just messing with y'all. No.
He's like, that's Ed's job.
No, because I saw some people out there that's interested in it. And I'm going to date myself a little bit. So I started at a dealership when there wasn't internet. Did you start at a dealership? Or you're a lot younger than I am.
I remember before there was internet, but not much.
So
I did. I owned a pager before I owned the phone. But only one. The O'Leary of the people that had 2 or 3 pagers.
Those were the important people that had a dual pager system. But if you think about it, since the internet came out, nothing has really changed in the dealership except software. Y'all kind of agree, and the cars has changed and stuff like that. So if you look back, it's like the dealership is boring because it's the same process day after day. And what we found out, and what's cool about, there's this new generation of young people that are hungry for this. And if you don't see it, you're not looking for it. A lot of times when your mind's very powerful, just like, what she was speaking yesterday morning. When you think you can't find technicians, you're not going to find them. So our team speaks, we're going to find them, even if I got to shake trees, if I got to go wherever. But what drives them is a vision of something new. And that's why I'm excited about mobile service, because a lot of people don't like it, they don't believe in it, but we solely believe in it. That's why I have 35 technicians, and the end of next month, we're going to have about 50 technicians, and we're going to add 10 more vans to our fleet, and we'll be at 46 by the end of Q3. But what's awesome about it is I don't do much anymore because these young guys are always coming up with new ideas. They want to do something different. So we talk vision. If you want to turn the industry up on its head, then join our mobile team, and that's what it's going to do. And I took our van to tech school this past week, and I was just showing one guy the van, and he thought it was the coolest thing ever. And next thing I know, I was trapped in this van by 8 students. And they were so impressed with it. I was like, oh, can I customize it? I was like, absolutely. Until this girl said, can I turn it pink? And I was like, no. But then I'm like,
any color you want, as long as it's black.
Yeah, right? Then I was like, well, why not? Wouldn't it be pretty cool if there was some pink stuff for,
I'll tell you what,
yeah.
If a pink mobile service van shows up at a woman's house,
yeah,
she immediately feels better. I mean,
exactly.
I know large stereotype, but generally speaking, what things, for the ladies in the room, if the service truck that shows up is pink, are you immediately, like, you come down a notch?
Connection, yeah.
Right? I'm getting a lot of nods because you expect, like,
it is something
car,
different.
Things like, yeah.
And here's the big trouble.
You should do it.
I'm going to text it back. We're going to do it first.
After I said that, I was like, I should
get it to the wrap shop now.
Maybe some pink stripes. But anyway, but when I had to reprogram my mind, because when I was a young technician, I was married young, I had 5 boys, so I had to work on commission because that's how we provided for our families. Now, in my mind, I'm like, you're dumb for not wanting to work on commission, but it's a totally different, you're working with different people. And here's one thing that really ticks dealerships off is young people don't like commission. I don't know if y'all realize or not, there may be 10%, but a lot of them don't like that because it's too much pressure on them. And it just creates this anxiety with them that they don't like it, so they're totally turned off. So come up with a pay plan that does incentivize that. We have a pay plan, and then we have, if you do real well, there's an incentive. So it kind of balances out a little bit on both sides. But there's, and I don't mean to take the show, but there is 4 things that I do know with young technicians. If y'all want to hear about it, then I'll let you talk.
Yeah, do we want to hear about it? Yeah.
So the first one is they want to believe in something. That's the vision. I use Steve Jobs' the crazy speech a lot, because we are going to change the automotive industry, and we're going to do it in this little group right here, and that's how we rallied everybody together. So everybody knows this vision, what we're doing. We're going to outserve our customers. We're going to meet our customers where they're at. The second thing is I just said it, they don't like commission. There's some of them that do, but 80% of them don't. They don't like it. And the third one is they want a flexible work schedule. In my mind, I was a 60-plus hour a week dealership, and I feel like everybody should do that. But like I've said, I'm changing. I'm getting older and wiser. But they want a schedule that's flexible, so we work around it. If you want a day off, fine. I'm cool with that. We can shuffle our schedule around because they don't want to work 60 hours a week. I don't know if y'all realize that, but they don't want to work 60 hours a week. And I just went blank on the 4th one. So what did I say? Vision?
This was your idea.
Yes. Sorry, Natasha. Natasha's been helping me a lot lately. She gave me shots last. I usually don't drink, and she gave me a shot. I went with Owen, and my insides are still burning. I don't know if that's normal.
I thought you meant medication.
No, it was. No, I wish it was. So the 4th one is they want to know what it looks like to work there, a growth plan. They want to see what the future could look like for them.
Very
and
common.
If you're very transparent with that, all you got to do is attract 1 or 2.
Right.
And the rest of them will attract themselves. They'll buy into the culture, and then it'll ripple effect.
So you have a lot. It sounds like you have a lot of young technicians going into this program.
We do. I was trying to think. I only have maybe 1 or 2 over 30. I got some diagnostic techs that are more seasoned, but most of them, if you see pictures on LinkedIn, they're in their 20s. You don't have to have a master technician out there to change oil and do recalls.
Well, Rick, where do your technicians come from that staff your mobile service fleet?
It's a lot of the same. We work with a lot of the local trade schools. Columbus State Community College has the Ford Asset program, and we take those B and C techs. A lot of them are apprentices under that traditional tech that's maybe older, grumpy, doesn't have the personality, but they get mentored by that person. I'd like to add on to Jeremy's 4. The first one, the vision. What I have also found with the younger folks is they want to be something bigger. They want to be part of something bigger than just themselves. They want to be celebrated as a team for the team accomplishments even more than the individual. Where when I first started selling cars, it was you want to be the #1 salesperson, you wanted the trophy at your desk, and you were kind of teasing the other people. And now they want to celebrate what the store did together. The other thing is when it comes to training, development, accountability, we have a Rules to the Road, a culture book, and I hope nobody back home sees this on the recording because I don't have one in my pocket. It's in my bag, but we keep that in our pocket. I know, but it's how we hire, fire, reward, review, and recognize. And we're driven, we're trusted, we're sharp, we're welcoming, and we're one team. And that is what we abide by with everything. It's not so much about KPIs and data. It's about how are you doing in the 5 culture areas. Same thing with the pay plan talk. We bring everybody in hourly. And even if it's a technician, it's hourly, a salesperson, it's hourly. Once they have gotten to the point where maybe they think they can make more on commission and they want to choose that, then they have the option. When they are hourly, they're an apprentice and they want to become the mobile service tech, they go on a flat rate opportunity, but with a guarantee in their back pocket also. Because one of the things we struggle with figuring out is what do we do with the drive time, the downtime? How do we incorporate that into the pay plans? One thing we have to fight in Ohio is seasonality. It snows. So now all of a sudden they're on this route, this path for the day. We got snowy roads, we got level 2 snow emergencies. Now how do we reroute? How do we reschedule all of that? And how do we still pay that person because they still showed up for work, they're ready to do their job. The environmental stuff is what is holding them back. So we lean on culture, we lean on celebrating things as a team, and we want to be able to get them into the business to understand it. And the final thing I'll say is we don't hire much management from the outside at all. We believe in developing internally, and I think it's that's the other thing that the young people see is an opportunity to grow within our company. So if you work hard, you do good. We're talking about the sales path, and they get into F&I, they become a sales manager, they become a sales director. And if we're replacing a general manager and we're immediately sending out external applications and interviewing, and we're just going to bring somebody from the outside, what's their motivation to stay with us? Well, when they see, we always do an internal application process first. And when they see one of their peers be promoted, they at least have that vision of, well, wait, that can be me one day. So we try hard to develop and keep within and do everything internally.
What I hear for the common thread from the both of you is that the mobile service success is really tied pretty closely into a strong culture. Yeah. And this makes sense for me. My background, my first company was a reconditioning company. I got a job as a service advisor, and then I built like wheel repair, paint repair, and I built that for 15 years. We had 50 trucks on the road, and we were in the Northeast, so that we were also dealing with weather conditions, scheduling conflicts. Most of our business was dealerships. We also did retail for wheel repair and things like that. And we built that business on the back of a strong company culture because you have people out by themselves a lot. It's different when you're in the store and you're interacting with your peers, there's an accountability level. But if you don't have a strong culture and you're sending people out into the wild, right, to your point, that can go sideways really quickly. Have you had to rein that in, or have you been able to establish that from the get-go, and the fact that people are going out representing you well, and you know that?
So, and it's probably just bringing that up. We talk about being a professional out in front, because you're right. So when you hire them at your typical shop, you have a lot of eyes watching them. Mobily, you don't have that advantage, but we have a development program where they do a ride along, and 4 to 6 weeks, I have a seasoned guy that's sitting there monitoring them and training them, how to interact with customers and stuff like that. But it's also good about hiring that right personality because they are in front of customers. But the customers, this is kind of crazy, but the customers are different outside the dealership. Did y'all know that? When you meet them at their house, they're happy. And it blows. I just got a text message at lunch with a customer that's praising the mobile team, and they call them out by name. It's like every day I get an email. The customer is, if you think about when you buy a car and you get a recall and you go into the service drive, that customer is prepared to have a bad experience most cases. And at Bozard 4, we have the best dealership. We have a restaurant there, and they still come. This has ruined my day. I had to drop my kids off.
There's a grump factor.
There is. Right? No matter how happy they are in the back of their mind, they're really not that happy. But it's amazing when you go to their house, I hear stories. Some of them I don't want to hear, that they offered them beer and stuff like that. And I was like, please tell me you said no. And I was,
You told me to be polite.
No wonder they're so happy.
Yes, I'm confused.
They insist. Customer's always right. Yeah.
But it's crazy. They invited, if it's, because in Florida it rains. I mean, it's weird. It's like it'll be sunshine and then a freaking monsoon will come. And it's like, where the heck did that come from? But they let them use their garages. It's just, the customer experience is perfect. And I just got an email that, 3 of my advisors, they still have 100% CSI score with 20 survey counts. And it's just pretty cool to see that side of it.
How do you, everybody gets surveyed? It's like the same as anything?
Yeah.
How do you get feedback?
So I'm going to touch on something that
Please do.
Jeremy said real quick. So 3 years ago, Ford came out with a report called Dipped in Blue. And it really opened my eyes because Ford Motor Company educated us and showed us that customers have 8 pain points before we ever engage them. So if you think about somebody driving down the road and all of a sudden a check engine light pops on, their vehicle makes a sound, a noise, something happens, an initial pain point happens that leads to 3 other thoughts in their mind. Oh no, this might be serious. How much is it going to cost? Oh no, how am I going to get in to get it fixed? And then how am I going to get to work? Oh no, am I going to get a loaner car, or what's that going to be like? They have all these things that are happening. They have 8 of these pain points that happen before they ever pull in the drive. And we get to have a smiling service advisor say, well, welcome, we're ready to take care of it. They're already in that negative mindset. So that's why I said in the beginning, offering those convenient options of letting people know that we know about your pain points. How can we help? How can we help? Now, what was the actual question?
How do you get feedback from your techs?
We use Google Chat big time. We've got Google Chat groups, and the mobile team has theirs. It also feeds into that entire service department's chat. Somebody, whatever that customer's concern is, or call in, our follow-up, that post-service, post-sale follow-up is imperative because we're still learning and growing throughout this. We talk about, an apprentice tech riding along for 4 to 6 weeks. So you're investing in training and development. You're investing in hiring, admin dispatchers that maybe come from the BDC, and we're putting money into something that honestly we didn't see a return in the beginning. So when you talked about the 4 different types of people that are either in mobile or thinking about it or where they're at, 2 of those 3 that aren't bought in, that don't, they think they have to do it or they're forced or whatever, it's going to be tough to them to find success because you have to commit to it and invest in it and let it grow and let it work and let it get to the point that now we're ready to go, okay, we need to supercharge this thing. We need to start really watching what these guys are doing and how can we add more vans? How can we find more techs? How can we build this thing up faster? Because it takes a little while. It's almost like running an insurance company.
It does. And one thing that you pointed out, so just think about, the team did 65 repair orders yesterday just on our mobile team. That means I can bring those 65 people back into the main shop for bigger repair work. And it's like, that's a big value right there because I'm not, you get it, when I used to rebuild transmissions and I hated it, the advisor's going to come up to you, hey, I'm going to do this one time and I promise I'll leave you alone for the rest of the day, but can you do this recall? And it would just set my day off. I'll be in a grumpy mood and then I'll just be shot for the day. So that's what mobile service does. It takes that away from those line toast A technicians that needs to do those big jobs and just.
Yeah, that's the factor, like the residual effects of doing these things. Like you just painted it. You just brought it back to some other effect that you have on your technician, their efficiency. You're highly skilled, highly paid technician, by the way. So I think there are a lot of residual effects that we're not considering. Have either of you gotten into leveraging the mobile technician to give customers a price on their used car?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But yeah,
I mean,
writing that down.
I think plug it in.
I think, well, we stress what Jeremy's talking about is doing the diagnostic on site.
Yep.
Because if there is other bigger concerns
Yes.
to then do what we came out to do for them and then get them to come then to come back into our shop. We do have a really good process once they are at the dealership to that service to sales and to be able to give them offers and print the Carfax and print their valuation.
A thought that I had, just like it's another touch point where you can do a condition report or at least get photos, right? Is it okay, Mr. Customer, if I,
But really, if we're in their yard and we're providing that excellent service, to me, Bozard's going to be on the first mind if they're wanting to trade in or something like that. Just because you got that big old billboard in their front yard where all their neighbors are watching.
Yeah, that's a great example as well. We are out of time. We're a little over time, but we started a little late. Last question. If you were to give one piece of advice to someone who is considering getting started, how would you say they should get started? What should they be thinking of?
I would just start with just one, but be fully committed on it, because a lot of
what does fully committed look like?
Well, it's a
Define
dealership. It's a dealership mindset. So, in my past, we're going to try mobile service. Let's take that service advisor that's already working to the max, and let's put him over. So it's almost like you really need to have a line that separates. This is the mobile team, and that's all they're going to be focused in. You can't. And I know dealerships going to do it. They're going to share these people, and it just doesn't work out that way. So one van, fully committed, and I think you can definitely see it, be a success.
I completely agree with that. I would just add, for us, it was going into the fleet and commercial customers first, and taking that van to them and showing them what we're capable of. Those that you already have a relationship with, they already trust you. You're already doing service for them at the shop, and then, like Jeremy said, separate that mobile service team, that advisor, that dispatcher, however you want to build that up, and get your process tight, and then commit to it and watch it grow.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we hear for our panelists today? Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And thank you to Ed Roberts, because Ed Roberts is the one that sent me a message like, hey, we should do this. And we did it. There you go. Thanks, Ed.